this is just a little mini reenactment of poignant sections from the oral argument in the case of Fresh Air for the East Side versus the State of New York and Waste Management of New York. In this segment, we're pulling some excerpts from the argument put forth by the State of New York. This is one of the judges in the case. But this court should also not adopt Waste Management's argument that the Green Amendment is unenforceable until the legislature passes implementing legislation. That much more far-reaching issue can be resolved in a future case.
Let's just be clear here, Counselor. In your brief, your position is that the Green Amendment does bind the state?
That is correct. It is a part of the Constitution of the State of New York.
So it is self-executing, at least as against the state. The state has certain obligations now under this constitutional amendment to all the residents of New York.
There are two issues here. The first is whether the Green Amendment can be enforced in court without implementing legislation from the legislature. And that's the issue that Waste Management says dictates here. But we don't think the court needs to reach that issue because we think much more fundamentally they're not challenging a state action.
I get that. You want to sidestep that issue. But just to be clear, in your brief, you are indicating that the state now has a non-discretionary duty to make sure that executive and legislative actions do not infringe on the rights of New Yorkers.
I would agree with that, Your Honor. Yes. Whether that right can result in a lawsuit without implementing legislation, well, that's a different issue. The takeaway from the case when it comes to the position of the State of New York, yes, the State of New York acknowledges that the Green Amendment does apply to the state. The problem is the state is taking the position that it is discretionary and up to the state to decide when, if, how, and or to what degree the state should enforce existing environmental protection laws, even if and when their discretionary choice is resulting in devastating harms to the environment, the environmental rights of communities in the State of New York. In addition, the state is also arguing...
Are you serious?
In addition, the state is also arguing that the Green Amendment is not self-executing, which means that it has legal life and enforceability in its own right. The state is saying in the absence of legislation, there's not really much, if anything, the people can do to enforce the New York Green Amendment when they believe their rights to clean water and air and a healthful environment have been violated by government action.